Hello, beautiful people. My name is Sonny P, and I want to specially welcome you to my YouTube channel. If you're just joining me here for the first time, please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please turn on your notification button so that anytime I post a video, you'll be the first to see it. All right, guys. So today I'm going to show you how to set up a home studio, the basic things you need, the basic connections you need to do to have a home studio running. So follow me as we delve into it. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Okay, so for you to set up a proper studio, you need a keyboard, an actual keyboard or a MIDI controller. But if you're using an actual keyboard, these are the basic things you need when you're using an actual keyboard. You need a power cable, which is what helps to power the keyboard. You plug it to the power outlet on the keyboard. Then you need a jack to jack and an XLR cable. This is what helps you take signal from the keyboard to your sound card or to your mixer, whichever one you're using. So you check behind the keyboard, there is always a left and right channel. So you plug the jack to jack to the audio output. Then another thing you're going to need is the MIDI cable, a MIDI cable. And this MIDI cable comes in and out. Either a MIDI to USB or MIDI to MIDI, depends on what source you have. So the in goes to the out, then the out goes to the in. Exactly, just as you see it in the video. So in goes to out, out goes to in. Do you understand? All right, let's move on to the next thing. So you see this cable, the end of that USB cable we connected, this goes to your computer or your laptop or whatever device you are using. But for this, I'm using a desktop. All right, so let's delve into the softwares. All right, so guys, I just showed you how to connect your keyboard. So the first thing you're going to need for music production, you need a keyboard, you need a sound card, you need a computer. You need keyboard, you need a sound card, you need a computer. Now, I just showed you the previous video before this, how to connect your MIDI cable, how to connect your audio cable, and how to connect the power cable. Now, if you are using a keyboard that's just a MIDI keyboard, all you need is a printer cable. A normal printer cable should work. A normal printer cable to just connect to the USB port of the keyboard and to your computer. That will work perfectly. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you is how to run your DAWs. Some people say, oh, I prefer to use Cubase. Some say I prefer to use Logic. Some say I prefer Pro Tools. Some say I prefer Studio One. Some say I prefer Cakewalk. Some say I prefer Fruity Loop. Some say I prefer Reason. Whatever software or whatever DAW you decide to use is perfectly okay. Now, in my years of experience as a producer, I've been producing for more than 20 years. I can tell you that all these DAWs are the same. It just depends on your ability to use them. I've heard people do jobs with just Fruity Loops and it sounds so amazing, and I ask them, what DAW is that? They say, oh, it's FL. And I'm like, oh, FL could sound this nice. So it's not about the DAW, it's about the person using the DAW. So don't be deceived by those who say, oh, Pro Tools is the best when it comes to music production, Logic is the best, oh, this is the best, that is the best. They are all the same thing. They do the same. They have the same functions. Yes, I might agree that some have better engines, better sound engines than the others, but that's not what we're trying to discuss here. So what we're trying to discuss is which DAW can you use. Any DAW that you have learned and you are able to master how to use it is the best you can use. All right, so let's delve into using my DAW. I use Cubase. I've been a fan of Cubase. I've used Cubase for more than 20 years. And I'm still using Cubase till today. I started with Cakewalk. From Cakewalk, I moved to Nuendo. From Nuendo to the Cubase series. From Cubase SX, Cubase 5, Cubase 6, Cubase 7, Cubase up to Cubase 14. I'm using the current Cubase 14. So I'm going to just show you how to set up your DAW, how to set up a template for your music production. All right, guys, let's go into it. Okay, so for the setup, we run Cubase 14. Okay, so now when it's up, the default template that comes with every DAW, most DAWs, Cubase, especially the Cubase, it comes with an empty template. These other templates are templates I created by myself, but it comes with an empty template. So let's start with the empty template. So we click on the empty template. Now there are two options here. use a default location or prompt for project location. Now, the disadvantage of using a default location is sometimes you just get jobs mixed up in themselves. But I prefer, and I will advise most young producers to prompt for project location so you can arrange your jobs properly. Now, so for this, I'm going to use prompts for project location that you create. Now, when you create, you choose from your various hard disk or the storage you have on your computer. You can decide, like I use local disk D for all my projects. So let's come to 2025. So we're in February, right? So we open this. So let's create a folder for this. So let's say we're using this folder Sonny P new. So Sonny P new, right? So we open Sonny P new, create another folder. So let's assume the title of the song is Glory to God. So we do Glory to God. Now, when you do Glory to God, you can either decide to copy it or whatever. Then click on the Glory to God, click on the Glory to God, then select folder. Now, when you do this, it has created a folder for you here. Now, remember, it comes with an empty folder. So the folder is going to be empty. So what you can do, first thing you can do is to save this folder. Now, when you save, Control S is what takes us to this place, or you come down here, File, then you save. When you save, it brings you, remember we created a folder Sonny P new, then the title of the song is Glory to God. So under this place, we either paste that Glory to God we copied or type Glory to God, whichever you choose, then you save. Now this project has been saved under a folder called Sonny P new, and the title of the song is Glory to God, right? So the next thing you want to do is to start adding channels or tracks. Now let's assume we want to record audio. The first thing we need to do is add audio track. If it's MIDI you want to record, you add MIDI tracks. Do you understand? If it's instruments you want to record, anything you want to record, there are already options for adding. If it's what effect you want to add, if it's group you want to add, if it's VCA you want to add, anything you want to add, folder track, all of them, you have the options here. So how do you access those options? You right click on the empty space here. You right click on the empty space here to add. So let's assume we're adding an audio track, and I'm using a TF5, a Yamaha TF5, which is a 34 channel mixer. But if you're using a sound card that is just one output like we showed you in the previous video, now you can just select. If it's two inputs, you can just select one or two, because that's the only option you have. But for this sound card, we have up to 34 inputs. So let's assume where my microphone is connected to channel 1, I'll choose channel 1. If the microphone is connected to channel 2, you choose channel 2. If the microphone is connected to channel 3, you choose channel 3. If the microphone is connected to channel 4, you choose channel 4. So whichever input you connect your microphone to on your sound card or on your digital board, that's the channel you will choose when you are adding. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use channel 1. So which is this channel 1. We have chosen channel 1. Now for recording what's it called, microphone, most times should be mono. You get, then the output should be stereo output. Then you can decide to name it here. You can decide to say this is our lead vocal. Now when you do that, you add the track. Okay, now these are for vocals. The mono, remember I said if you're adding vocal, it should be mono. So let's assume we're adding another vocal. We're taking multiple vocals at the same time, and our sound card is just 2 inputs, right? So we can only do 1 and 2. So for the 2, it should be mono 2. Because you are recording microphones, it should be mono. Then the stereo output, audio output should be stereo. Then you name it, let's assume lead 2, lead vocal 2. So when this is done, we have created audio channel to record our microphones. Now let's assume you use a sound card that has 4 inputs, and you decide to take sounds from your keyboard. you have a keyboard, not MIDI controller. Like I said earlier, you can either use a MIDI controller or you can use an actual keyboard that has tones, that has sounds in them. Now, if we're using sounds from the keyboard, you need to record the keyboard as stereo, not mono. So when you're playing a piano from the keyboard, or you're playing pad, or you're playing strings, or you're playing guitars, or you're playing drums from the keyboard, you should always record them as stereo. So let's assume we're adding an audio track to play piano from the keyboard. We can always just add like this. Now, instead of making this place mono, we change it to stereo. Now, when you are doing stereo, remember this sound card is this board I'm using is a TF5. It has 34 inputs. So, but for your sound card, let's assume your sound card is 4 channel. Now we have 1 and 2. 1 and 2 has already been taken for the lead vocal and lead vocal 2. So what we are left with is 3 and 4. So for that piano, you can connect the input of the piano to 3 and 4. Now when we do 3 and 4, remember we have 3 and 4. So let's assume what we are playing first is piano. So we put piano and enter. Now we have created a piano track, a stereo piano track. Then we have 1 lead vocal mono, 2nd lead vocal mono. Now how do we add instruments? Now for adding instruments, you click F11 on your keyboard, or you come here and go to VST instruments and click F11. So now let's add a pad. So let's add a pad from this guy. So I'm using the ESP for montage. So we're adding this channel for pad. Now this channel, we name it pad. Remember, I like to name them so it will help you know which instruments is played on a particular track, or what is on a particular track, either it's for lead or for lead 2 or for pad or for piano. Now when you don't name them, you definitely will have a rough working environment. So I like to just name them, keep everything neat. So now we have chosen this guy for pad. Now we have to come under this place to look for pad. So you can either type pad. Now these are the various pads we have, or if you have any particular pad in mind that you already know the name, like analog pad, let's do analog. Analog pad is one of the common pad with montage, with Mode X, with Yamaha is a Yamaha pad. So if we choose analog pad, now that you have chosen analog pad, now this is analog keys, no analog pad. So let's come on the pad. Where is pad? Okay, so we are choosing analog pad. So we come to pad. This is it, analog pad. So when you choose this, you get, now once you choose it, you close what's it called, the VST. Now you can play the pad, but remember this audio channel. Now these are 2 different channels. This is a MIDI channel, this is an audio channel. This one is an audio channel where you play directly, you play the sound directly from your piano. This one is a VST channel, a MIDI channel where you can play and record. So for this, now as I'm playing, it's not recording anything because I've not assigned the piano channel here. But for this MIDI, as I'm playing, you see that it's recording. Now you see that this one recorded, this one didn't record even when I was playing the piano, because this is an audio channel, so it will record audio, not not MIDI. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So now once this is done, the next thing you want to do is go to your BPM or tempo, choose a tempo for the song. If the song is a fast-paced song, get the tempo. This is how you choose the tempo. You can adjust manually, or if you have a digit in mind, you can just add. Let's say we're doing 58 is the tempo. We do 58. Now how do you hear the sound of the tempo? You come to this place, activate this metronome or click. They call it metronome click in Cubase. So how to activate it is either you use C on your manual keyboard, or you just come here and click here, it activates. So once you play, You can hear the click plays on the background. Now once the click is playing, how do you know if the click is working? You hear the output. Now let's go to output and input. Now once you have done all this, you need to assign your output and input. How do we do this? Let's come to Studio, F4. You can either press F4 manually on your keyboard, or you come here, click on F4. Now at the top right, you see input. Next, you see output. You see group effect. You see external effect. You see external instruments, control room. Now, so our major focus is input and output. So let's go to input. Now, in this input, because I created a microphone. Remember, we created a lead microphone. It automatically created an input here. We created lead vocal too. It automatically creates an input here. Now we did a piano stereo, which is this 3 and 4. Remember? If you can't remember, please go back to the video and make reference to the video. We have 3 and 4. Now on the output, most sound cards come with just 2 outputs, especially if it's 2i2, Focusrite 2i2, or if it's 2i4 or whatever. But most times I will always advise, if you're using a sound card, always connect your monitor speakers to 1 and 2. So when you come to the output here, you assign the output. Like this is a board that has multiple outputs, but I use 1 and I assign the left to 1, the right to 2. So with this now, you can hear sound if your speakers are properly connected to the sound card. Now once this is done, if you play, you can hear the click, or you can hear any other instruments. All right, so that will be it for today. Now, anything you do as you keep working, please always make sure to save. Control S on your manual keyboard, or you come here to click save. Always save. It will help you not to lose any file if there's any interruption from power, or there's any your software decides to hang or something. Always make sure you save. All right guys, thank you. That will be all for today. The next class, I'll teach you how to set up a template, how to set up a working template. Now, because imagine every time you open your door to work, every project you do, you have to go through all these processes manually, always setting up input, always setting up audio and MIDI and everything. You know, it's a long process. Before you start the project, you would have spent 30 minutes, 45 minutes trying to set up a proper working environment. So in the next class, I'm going to teach you how to set up a template with your reverb, with your effects, with your effects, with everything, group and everything. All right guys, just stay tuned. God bless you.